Hey, welcome back to the show. This is a Relax Radio, RELAKS. And yeah, this is Real Talk with me, Nick, keeping you company on the final stretch of the show. And hey, we're talking about all that's happening around the UK and around the world and, the Suez Canal and the vaccines. But there's something else that it has also pressing issues that we haven't talked about yet. And that is, that the elephants are being driven to the brink by poaching. Yeah, that's something that is a serious, that's going on right now across the world. So yeah, the ivory trade, in case you guys are wondering, has resulted in the loss of the vital habitat and a deeper understanding of elephant biology, and have combined to reveal a previously underestimated threat to Africa's elephants. Yeah, the elephants are gonna go extinct. That's what the fear is. The rising fear right now, especially amongst environmentalists right now, that the elephants are being poached to extinction. That is what everyone is afraid of. And yeah, the African forest elephants are now critically endangered. And an update from the International Union for the Conservation of Nature, or IUCN rather, reveals that savanna elephants are also endangered, so including also the African forest elephants. And yeah, the decline over decades have driven the species into the two highest categories of extinction threat. So that is just crazy. I mean, of all the animals in the world that are extinct, going extinct and are at the brink of extinction, it's sad to see that the elephants. It's really sad. It fills my heart with a lot of sadness that these elephants are going extinct. I mean, yeah, because it's just crazy, and there's a genetic evidence that showed them to be two of the most distinct species that have lived for more than a decade ago. A decade ago, 10 years ago, these species were crazy. They're all around Africa, and now they're just driven to the brink. And yeah, there's been accurate assessments though of population trends in their numbers and threats they face that take many years. So yeah, the IUCN estimates 450,000 elephants remain in Africa. So, but the numbers of the elephants are dwindling, though. They fell by more than 86% during the past three decades. And in addition, the number of savanna elephants fell by at least 60% over the past 50 years. So, yeah, the situation differs, although it differs from country to country. In Botswana, for example, it has been argued that there's so many elephants that the ecosystem cannot naturally support them. But on a continent-wide scale, the giant mammals are in a steady decline. So yeah, Dr. Ben Okita, who co-chairs the IUCN Elephant Specialist Group, called the latest assessment an alarm bell. I mean, it is a fitting thing to be calling it an alarm bell because to even think that elephants are going extinct is just crazy. I mean, I rue the day that one day, our children or our grandchildren will be looking at elephants in picture books and not in the wild anymore. And that is just really disheartening. So yeah, despite peaking back in 2011, poaching for ivory remained a significant driver of the decline. So yeah, it is one of the major causes, said by Dr. Ben Okita. So he also said that there's been another silent killer that requires a very high level of attention, and that's land degradation and fragmentation. So yeah, it is also a big challenge for the species that require very large areas and that move very long distances. And wild animals do not know international borders; they do not know boundaries on all of that. So it turns out, when things turn around, we have to have cooperation across these borders and to plan for better land use, where animals, share that land. And he explained all of this, Dr. Akita. He's like, talking about the importance of how animals should be able to roam between borders because it's animals after all. So yeah, and he further states that I know there will be, with the African government and with the communities that live alongside these animals. So we just need to make it happen. So yeah, and he says he's very optimistic that we can turn things around. So yeah, Dr. Isla Deporge from the Oxford University said, while on the surface this looks bleak, the fact it's being flagged is actually positive. I mean, yeah, there is something you can gain out of this. I mean, the fact that we've noticed that there is a steady decline of elephants shows that we are aware now. We are more aware that there are animals like this and they're dying. And our environment, our ecosystem needs these animals to thrive. So yeah, that's just something that they are, they're addressing. And she further states, Dr. Isla, that the separation of the species is also a positive because we can do something about it on a more concentrated level. Depending on which species we're looking at and in what location, more information is always better. So yeah, that is just something that she was just talking about and saying and addressing at that moment. I mean, when you really come to think about it, animals like the elephants, they do need a lot to eat, especially when it comes to, land. They need to roam. They're very, very big animals. So these kind of animals need to roam around, need to travel on, they need to graze, and they need to eat all of the grass and stuff like that. And for animals like that to be pouched, for their ivories is just terrible. I mean, I get it. Even the people who do the pouching, though, it's understandable. The reason most of them are doing it also is because they're in severe poverty, and it comes back down to the economy of the country. This is one of the reasons why people also go to pouch these kind of animal, like poaching. I mean, these kind of animals, and it's just crazy, with what is going on, and especially animals like the elephants, which are very harmless. I mean, they are. You could say, they are most of the time. They're very harmless. They're very docile animals, and that is just crazy to be seeing something like this going on right now in the UK. And yeah, that is really, really, really disappointing. Not in the UK, my bad. I mean, in Africa and in the world. And it's really, really unfortunate that this has actually been happening. And yeah, for them to, but the other point is, though, that we've highlighted this, we've noticed that there is something like this going on. And that is, I guess, a positive step towards the future. And yeah, Amy Frankel, the executive secretary of the Convention on the Conservation of Migratory Species of Wild Animals, said, "I hope it will lead to greater conservation actions for both species." So yeah, in particular, the forest elephant has suffered drastic declines over the past few decades. And Dr. DePorge also said conservationists doing work on the ground in Africa to protect the habitats would be the most crucial players in the effort to protect these animals. So yeah, those are the organizations to donate your money to. That is something that she also further elaborated on. She's like, okay, this, since this is all that's happening and we need the people right there, we need these conservationists, environmentalists, and all of them there, to protect these animals, to safeguard especially their environment and, their need to live. So this is one of the reasons where he's like, hey, we got to donate the money, any money actually, to these causes, and which is understandable. But right now, with what is happening around the world, with what is happening with the coronavirus and with all of the export and the checkpoints good in the UK and the rising tension between the EU and the UK and the possible ban of exports of the vaccines, to the UK from the EU is just, it's just a lot to take in sometimes. And I totally get that. And, to add on top of that, animals also are passing away, even though, this situation, it's disheartening. I mean, sometimes, yeah, there's so much negative in the world. We got to look at the positive, and the positive right now, we can do a change. We can make a change. And, I think it's all got to do with being accountable for. Make sure you're accounted for. You know what you're doing, and make sure you take responsibility for what you're doing. But with that being said, I have got to bounce out of here, and got to leave you in the safe hands of my buddy Tim, who's going to keep you company on the buzz all the way from 4 to 7 p.m. So make sure you guys tune in for more information on that as he keeps you guys entertained. And with that, you can catch me again tomorrow, same time, same place, same frequency. And with that, my name is Nick, and I'm out of here.